Hey crew, what's up? Welcome back. It's Dr. Jared here at HPC Move Mob. Mobsters, welcome back. CrossFit Open 18.4. 6 keys to maximize capacity. We're going to go through some deadlifts, handstand push-ups, and man, if we're lucky, we'll get to handstand walks. First time ever, but it's a chore. You got to be ready to get there. For those of you going scale, just have fun, keep pressing on, but we're going to go through these 6 keys to maximize your capacity. The first key number 1, breathing. We have got to breathe here, but even before we go into breathing, what does that even mean? We all breathe, Dr. Jared. Thanks for letting us know that we need to keep breathing. No, this is all about holding a stable midline by continuing to hold tension or stability from butt to gut and from belly to blades so that you can breathe through your diaphragm. Now, a lot of my patients and I have gone through this. We know this, been able to train with this, and that's made a huge difference in just their health and longevity, but also their capability to go through these movements. We'll see that people are going to hyperextend and hyperflex the crap out of their low backs. Low back lockups are going to be a plentiful here. Now, does that mean everybody's herniating discs? No, it just means they're not doing a great job of understanding the importance of diaphragmatic breathing, midline stability and control through the pelvic floor all the way through the system. These are all big concepts that nobody really wants to talk about or nobody really wants to work until this type of a workout crops up. So butt to gut, that just means that I'm staying nice and tight through my glutes to my stomach when I stand up my deadlift, so I'm not standing up into hyperextension. Belly to blades, that's important when I go down into my deadlift. We'll talk about patterning here in a bit, but just the idea that I gotta keep tension from my belly to my blades to hold my midline so that I can breathe through my diaphragm, meaning that baby, that muscle that's there goes up and down to suck in air and press it out from my lungs, and that's independent of what I'm doing in terms of my handstand push-up or my deadlift. Belly to blades is also super important, and even butt to gut in the handstand push-up. Not so much in the bottom. It can get sloppy where people are starting to tuck through their hips way too much. You see right here in this image, why I put this one up here. Sorry about the quality, but this does give a good idea. I'm very tight through this midline. You don't see any rib flare going on here. There's no rolling through the pelvis, and later on you'll see when I pop up there's not a whole lot of hyperextension in the low back. Number 1, I want to get my rep, meaning I have to be as tall as I can to get my rep, and I want 2 inches easy on that. Maybe 1 inch halfway through, and I'm getting it by a ½ inch at the end. That's all about keeping that solid, stable midline. So right now, nobody cares a lot of times when it's a different part of year, but this time of year when there's actually a standard, you know, in the future want to make sure every handstand push-up you have done has really sequenced to this. But today, if this really educates you on how to do that better, want to make sure each handstand push-up after this workout and during this workout is a little bit different to make sure you're breathing really well and getting full reps and full range of motion. So make sure you're breathing, understand butt to gut and belly to blades in both the deadlift and the handstand push-up so you can breathe through your diaphragm efficiently. Now we're going to go to patterning. Okay, with deadlift efficiency, we see way too many people squat lifting, meaning they're deadlifting or they're squatting their deadlift. And all that means is their knees are coming too far forward, hips are going too low, and the shoulders are staying too high, which means the bar has to go through more range of motion, or more joints have to move through greater range of motion to complete the rep. And if you're not a physics major, you know, and if you're not into math, it just means you got to do way more work and exert more energy to accomplish one repetition if you're using knees and low back way too much. So the idea is to use more hip, get that bar to the ground, get it back up as soon as possible, especially if the deadlift, especially the weight, is no big deal. Now, just a side note, hey, if you got neck issues, you got low back issues, if this is a really heavy weight for you, go scaled. Go scaled and crush it out. Enjoy it. Have fun. This is one where we'd say with this deadlift, this can get a little bit dicey for people who haven't had a whole lot of longevity with CrossFit or with lifting or with high intensity training. So go ahead and scale this one, and hopefully your coaches are encouraging you to do that. But if you can hold on to this, you got these movements, man, the efficiencies are really going to add up as we go through it. So here's the deadlift. We're going to watch. I'm really letting the shoulders come over. You see my knees don't really come too far forward. My shoulders are coming forward as my hips go way back. That means I can hold that tight pattern and I can just cycle through those deads nice, smooth, and fast. If I were to drop my hips and to drive my knees forward, almost like an Olympic lifting starting position. Nothing wrong with that, but we're not Olympic lifting here. We're cycling through our deadlift. So keep a high hip, less range of motion, bigger musculature, and less exertion to get you more reps faster. So darn important to really hit these reps as such. We'll show it again. Nice, smooth, and fluid. No, am I doing a straight leg or a Romanian? No, this is still a classic deadlift, but it's matching everything I can to hold all of my tension through my back, so everything is nice and stable through my spine, but I'm trying to get equal parts anterior to posterior chain. Now with handstand push-up efficiency, it's glutes, abs, scaps. Glutes, abs, scaps. So many times, and unfortunately I didn't have this from the side angle, we'll see people hyperextending the crap out of their backs trying to get the reps. They work so hard to lock out their arms, and the judge is like, no rep, dude. You got like an inch and a half, maybe 2 inches to go. It's because you're just hyperextended through your low back by not driving through with your glutes, tightening with your abs, and driving up with your scaps. It's very, very, well, I'll say it's simple to do once you have it, but until you get it, it's like, how do I do this? So really just think, get in the tallest position you can. If you're standing up, if you're hanging from a bar, that's going to be the tallest position you can get into, and you got to make sure you're finding that in your handstand push-ups. It's going to look like this. Right here, you see I'm taking plenty of time to drive up, but as I get there, I'm really making sure my heels are pressed up, but I'm locking all the way out. There's no hyperextension that's going on in there. Again, I apologize for not having that from the side, but if your butt is touching the wall, you know you're hyperextending your back. The only thing, and let me repeat this, the only thing that should touch the wall up there is your heels, because you've driven your hips and your chest all the way through. We'll go through this a little bit more in detail on the retest hack, so you can realize how to press through those handstand push-ups so you can get to the deadlifts and then get to the bigger weights. So stay tuned for more on this, but right now just think glute, abs, and scaps to get as tall as you can so you get all your reps and it's nice, easy, and smooth. Now we're going to go to pacing. Separation is number one. It has nothing to do with how many reps you do or how fast you do it. It has the idea of saying, I can move, I can brace, and I can breathe. And all three of those can happen separately and independently of each other, okay? So I can go through my deadlift while holding butt and gut or belly to blade tension, which is the brace, as I breathe 100% independently. We'll go through this a little bit more in the hack, but also realize, hey, you doing this and taking maybe a super massive deep breath, making sure you can go through 4 or 5 deadlifts as you do that, and you don't lose tension through glutes, abs, or shoulder blades, that starts giving you a taste of what that's going to be. And when you understand how to do that, it really unleashes a lot of potential, not only in the deadlift and the handstand push-up, but realistically in all other things. So critically important. Now, something that is more important for the workout itself, I put OHS. What I meant to put was handstand push-up. My apologies for that. But in the bottom of the handstand push-up, if you're okay to rest on your head and shoulders, take that moment to get a breath to ensure that you can get a nice kip, an easy lockout, and very tall position. So many people are really trying to blast through there and spring up and spring up. Yeah, if this was Diane, great, do that, but it's not Diane, folks. We got a lot of work after we get through Diane, so just make sure you're taking your time, not in the bottom of the overhead squat, because they're not in there, in the bottom of the handstand push-up. Now, the deadlift is the next piece, and what I like to do, not so much like Panchek, he did a great job, he broke it up into 5s, that's his gig, whatever, that's awesome, he did wonderfully, and if you want to try that, I'm not going to, discourage you from that, but for the average population, what we're always looking at is trying to do negative sets, or make sure you're not trying to do the even sets as you plow through. So 7, 7, 7 would get you to 21. We're going to add a little bit on the front end and minus a little bit on the back end, and this worked really, really well for me. A 9, 7, 5 for the set of 21 on deadlifts, a set of 7, 5, 3. Again, add a little bit to the front, take off a little bit on the back, and then also on the set of 9 going 4, 3, 2. I actually went 5, 4 because I was like, hey, I want to get done with these, and I want to have a little bit of time to rest before I get to the deadlift, so you can modify accordingly. Just make sure you hit a bigger first set so you can have an easier last set, so that when you go, again, OHS, I don't know what was in my brain, but when you go back to the handstand push-up, you can stay safe with your neck. Everything's nice and smooth because you didn't overexert and you're not, confused and, half wad drunk because you've been pressing so hard with the deadlift, and you can stay safe with that. Again, we talked about resting and breathing in the bottom position, so critically important there. Now, key number 4, chill out and get better. Don't get sloppy. Avoid miss reps and dominate full range of motion. So don't miss reps by doing, making the mistakes that Josh Bridges did last year, whatever year, when he wasn't quite opening up all the way. I'm pretty close with this, so I'm not going to lie about that. I'm trying to get fast. I don't want to do any more range of motion than I have to. But at the same time, I was getting legs locked out and shoulders behind the bar and trying to stay quick with it. So make sure your deadlifts are smooth and quick and that you're getting all of the repetitions. But the big thing is going to be the handstand push-up. New standard. It's pretty much the same if you don't cheat the system, but the idea here is you just have to get as tall as you possibly can. We'll go through that more in the hack, but the idea, dominate that full range so things are easy, easy, easy. Chill out, get better, pace through this so it's nice and smooth, but don't try and get, if you're ever getting panicky through this workout and you don't have 90 seconds or less left, man, you're totally botching this. Just need to stay smooth, get your reps, and get better as you progress along. Now, key number 5, get ready for the grind, and that is real. All right, that is super real. This adds up fast. Your arms won't want to work in the handstand walk. You better have the range under fatigue, meaning we talked all about getting tall in that handstand push-up. So critically important for the handstand push-up, but more importantly, when you are wrecked from these 315 deadlifts, which unless you're just like super duper strong with your deadlift and you have great gymnastic skill, yeah, this is going to add up fast and it's going to get pretty darn hard. And when that does, you want to make sure that it's no big deal to go right into the handstand walk. I finished at 8:12, was able to go down and back under severe fatigue because that's kind of my gig. That's my jam. I wish there was more of that sooner in the workout so I didn't have to get crushed by the deadlift. But it is what it is. That's what they programmed, and that's what we'll work with, and I'll get better, getting stronger. But the idea is make sure that you're ready for this and make sure everything is super wide open up with that handstand walk if you're doing prescribed and if that's what you're going to. The 315 deads, hey, I grabbed a belt, just say, hey, I kind of want to be safe, but, just thinking, hey, these last 7 reps are probably going to get ugly. Early on, hey, that felt okay. I'm going to be able to plow through some reps. So I went through these and hit a set of 4. I think I come back and I hit a set of 2, and things, are plowing along here. Things are going pretty good. But realize, hey, we don't want to have big sets of rest, breaking down into, doubles or even going to singles, which you'll see here real quickly. I was thinking, hey, maybe I'll hit another set of 4. Nope, get real, man. You're done. Go ahead and drop that bar, start breaking down into singles because that's where it's going to be. You're going to be able to, you're just going to have to embrace the grind and get through this, but stay flat with your spine. Keep your technique as much as you can as you're plowing through this quickly. As we do that, we'll go into this last set, and here, man, it's getting real. Shaking my head, talking myself into continuing to move because I'm not a massive deadlifter. I got a 405 max deadlift. So, it's not like I'm setting any world records here. I have to really pay attention to my efficiency, to my loading pattern so that every rep looks relatively the same. I felt like those looked like hell when I was doing them, but realistically, they're pretty solid. Have that belt there, but really make sure you're not getting into too much of a rounded back and keep yourself safe through there. And finish with a handstand walk. Do what you can, so if you get there and you're not great at it, just get better, just kind of learn, but realize this, great top position of the handstand. So many people just kind of screw that over throughout all of their training throughout the year, and they never really get too much better at the real reps that come up in the open. So they're like, oh, what's going on? I can't believe I'm getting no reps. Yeah, you haven't been locking out the top position at all. So make sure it's easy reps on the handstand push-ups. When you work throughout the rest of the year, that'll make a simple progression to your handstand holds. And once you get a good handstand hold, it's just about tilting a little bit of gravity on the other end so that you get an easy transition into your handstand walk. So if there's one thing that can really progress people forward, well, we'll say 2 things. Being able to breathe really well through these movements separately so that you're not breathing through your low back, but also really locking out and refining that top position of the handstand because it really unlocks a lot of capability flexibility, not only with handstand variations, but also with the kip and all other gymnastics. It's super important. I hope this helps at least get you to maximize. Again, like we said, we'll have a lot more with a retest hack when we come up with that. Go to HPC Move Mob. You're already on there, so you don't even have to worry about it. Go to follow. Follow us. Give us your email. You'll get these immediately. You'll get all this good information, and that's what it's all about, getting out free information so people can get better. Follow us on Instagram at HPC Dr. Jared, or excuse me, at HPC Dr. J. But if you want to go to Facebook, you can get us at Health and Performance Center. Good luck, guys. Crush this workout out. Protect your low backs, protect your necks, but definitely get better, and we'll see you next time.